Okay, here we go. We'll pray this system works. Number 9 says, what are the 2 square roots of 73? Well, if I was a 6th grader, I would go back to yesterday's lesson on page 741, example number 4. They gave me the 2 answers for what the square root of 5 is. I would just apply the knowledge and switch the 5 with the number 73. Number 9 again, it says, what is the cube root of negative 125? So one way to write that, guys, that we had yesterday is the cube root of negative 125. If you're on page 741, you're sitting real pretty. That's where we talked about cube roots. If you remember your quiz question yesterday for extra credit, I asked you this question. You want what number times itself 3 times gives me 125. Make sure you have your answer down. Number 23 was also from yesterday's lesson. You need to get F by itself. To do that, you need to get rid of the letter E. Letters next to each other mean?
Multiply.
To get rid of them, you?
Divide.
If you divide on the left,
Divide on the right.
you divide on the right. And guys, just leave it with letters when you're done with the division.
They can't hear you. So they can hear you.
You can't hear, I know, the recording's awful, so I'm uploading it with the other one. It'll be okay. I hope. Okay, number 24. This one is multiple steps. We did it yesterday, a problem like it. The first thing I need to do is distribute it. So I got the number 5 going with the letter T, minus. Remember, guys, we're not distributing a 2. We're distributing a
C.
negative 2. So negative 2 times 3 is what kind of 6?
Negative.
Negative. Negative 2 times negative T. 2 negatives make a
Positive.
positive. 2 times T is 2T. Okay, so that was big that we distributed the negative, so that we switched that to a positive. That equals T plus 4. Put my T's together on the left side. 5T plus 2T is 7T minus 6 equals T plus 4. If I was a 6th grader, the next step I would do is get rid of negative 6. Opposite of negative 6 is positive 6 on the left.
Positive 6 on the right.
On the left, the 6 is. On the right, you got 4 plus 6. You do the math. Now you got to get rid of the T on the right. What kind of T do you have on the right? A positive T. How many T's on the right? 1 T. How do you get rid of 1 T?
Divide.
You subtract 1 T. If you're subtracting 1 T on the right,
Subtract 1 T on the left.
subtract 1 T on the left. Okay, now you do the math. Now you're left with that, guys. Now the last thing I need to do is get rid of that number that goes with the T. How do I get rid of the number?
Divide.
A divide on the left.
Divide on the right.
Now, guys, it stays improper, but you need to
Reduce.
reduce it down. So if my math was correct, you were at 10/6.
Yeah.
You need to reduce it. Divide both those numbers by 2. Call it a day. All right, 29. 5 to the first power. I'll take a hand. What's 5 to the first power? Kendall. 5. What's 4 to the 0 power? Alex.
1.
1. What's 3 to the negative first?
1/3.
1/3. What's 2 to the negative second?
1/4.
1/4. Wow, that looks really similar to a problem we did yesterday. Common denominators, add them all up. Extra credit says, what is the difference in the surface area and the volume of a cube that has sides of 5 inches? So if this is 5 inches, how do I find the volume? So 5 times 5 times 5. How do I find surface area? Area. How do I find area? You square your numbers. Length times width, they're the same number. How many sides do you have on a cube? 6. So I would take 5 times 5 times 6. Now the question is, what's the difference between your two answers? What does difference mean? Subtract your two answers, and you have it. All right, good luck. I'll give you a few minutes to work some of the math that needs to be done to solve a number of these problems that didn't get solved yet. And then you are cruising on to the front side where we are doing our conversions of fraction, decimals, and percents. Did I tell you I got my brother signed up? Those words don't even hurt me. It's part of the consequence and the burden I paid. Guys, I should maybe introduce you. This is Mr. Shane. He sometimes labors with us on the roofing crew. I think this will be the first time this year. Some of us are at job 20. Some of us are at job 1. What page we put you on?
I don't remember.
I'll say I would look up here. See how we did that. Repeat. Divide by E on the right. You gotta write that. E divided by E. I don't know what that is, but I gotta write E divided by E. 6, I'll give you 1 more minute. Plus the 60.
Okay, so you're sitting real pretty right here. You divide by E. You cross out E. Go to your left. F. Done. Right there. That's your answer. F equals that. I don't have any idea what any of that stuff equals. I just know that those letters equal it. Because I got F by itself.
6, here we go. We're on to the front side. I'll take a hand that'll do them one at a time. So I'll say the percent, you give me the decimal and the fraction. Kendall, the first one. And next one. Phelan. Next one. Cam.
0.05 and 5
5 100ths reduces to 1 20th. Thanks. Strike one already. 6th grade. Super sad. 12.5%. Kaylee.
12.5. And then the fraction is 12.5.
Over 125 over 1,000. Kendall. 1/8. Next one. Nyla.
0.5.
Next one. Jaden.
0.25 and 1/4.
Top of the next page. Cam.
33.3 repeated, and I think it's 32.
Scones. Next one. Alex.
0.2 and 1/5.
Next. Q.
0.75
Next. Kendall. Second to last. Nyla.
0.01 and 1.
Last. Jaden.
2.5 and 2 1/2.
Letter A. Q.
I did 2.5 times 4, and it's an equal amount of negatives, and I got 10.
Letter B. Cam.
I did 2.5 times 2.5, and I got 6.25, and then added the exponent and got 12, so 6.25 times 10 to the 12.
Letter C. Nyla.
I did 1/12 plus 1/2, and then you see and divided by 2, and that means
D. Q.
I know we have to do 905 times 50 plus 32.
Excellent. The math Q. 5 goes into 50.
10 times.
10 times 9.
90.
The side one would be negative. Now I got negative 90 plus 32. Signs are different. Subtracted.
And I got 58.
58, and it would be a negative 58 degrees. Letter E. Armani. Kaylee.
3/4 times 6 over 1.
plus 50. So we cross out the 6 plus the 5 and we do 15. Then we do 15 times 3. 45.
Excellent. Letter F. Kendall.
Yes.
Q.
60. You have to do 60 plus 45, which is 100.
So we got the more than that. You take your answer from me, put it on there. G. Kaylee.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Am I supposed to put a dollar sign? Here then?
Yeah, for both of these, you should have been dollar signs. G. 8 ounces in a cup. 2 cups in a pint. 2 pints in a quart. So there's 4 cups in a quart. 4 times 8 is 32. So there's 32 ounces in a quart. How many quarts in a gallon? I'll take a hand. Somebody yelled it already. 1/4, because there's 4 cups in a gallon. I'll take H, the big math problem. Kendall, 7 times 8 minus 1. Divide by 5 times 3 plus 2. Divide by 5 times 7 plus 1 times 2 minus 1. Divide by 3 plus 3. Square root it. 4 identical blocks marked X, 250 mass, 500 mass are on the balance scale. Write an equation that represents the thing and then solve it to find the mass of the blocks. I'll take somebody who can translate a balance scale to me. Cam.
250 x cubed.
Not x cubed.
X squared.
Not x squared. How many x's do you have? So just write 3x plus 250 on the one side equals.
X plus 5.
Good. Okay, guys, remember that. We always give the number last. So 250 plus 3x is the same thing as 3x plus 250, but you're learning to write it properly. Algebra.
You subtract 250 on the left and 250 on the right.
Good. I'll take a hand to do the math that Kaylee just told us to do. Alex.
0 minus 0 is 0. 10 minus 5 is 5. And 4 minus 2 is 2.
Good. Step 2.
Do 3x divided by 8?
Not yet. Nope.
Don't we supposed to move it down so 3x plus x equals 2?
Excellent, but not plus x.
Subtract.
Yep. So, guys, you took the numbers to the right. If you take the numbers to the right, you got to move your letters to the left. If you take your numbers to the left, then you would move your letters to the right. It doesn't matter which way you go, guys. You get the exact same answer. The way we did it keeps us in positive answers. If you did it the opposite way, you'd have 2 negative numbers. So I'm going to get rid of 1x by subtracting 1x. Do it on the left. Do it on the right. I'm sorry, do it on the right. You're supposed to do it on the left. 3x minus 1x is 2x equals 250. Final step. Kaylee.
You divided by 250.
Divided by,
What?
get rid of the 2 by dividing the,
Oh, divide on the left.
so you divide by 2 on the left, divide by 2 on the right. The math, Alex.
2 goes into 2 one side, that's 2, subtract 0, bring down 5. It goes in there 2 times, that's 4, subtract 1, and subtract 4, that's 1. Drop down to 0 and multiply by 5.
So you got 125. I'd assume we're working with grams. So x is 125 grams. We've been working those algebra problems, guys, a couple of those times. These are great problems preparing you for exactly what the next stages in your life are going to be as we keep working algebra. Okay, let's go back to yesterday's lesson. Yesterday's lesson was quiz question number 1. We learned that when we do square roots, I can have more than one answer. It can be the positive and the negative. When we get those things. Coming up really shortly, guys, we'll have equations. In other words, we'll say x squared plus 3 equals 8. And you'll have to realize there's two answers when we did that. We're also getting introduced to cube roots. Okay, when I do cube roots, guys, can I have a negative answer?
Yes.
Yes, I can. I can have negative cube roots. If the number under the radical sign is negative, then my answer is negative. And the last thing we did was worked on whatever the problem was where you were switching those letters. Some of us, that's a challenge because we like having solid answers with numbers, and we get confused when there are letters that are there. All right. Moving on today. I'll take a hand that can start to tell us what in the world slope is. Q.
Below are the graphs of two functions. The graph of the function number one indicates the number of feet found equal a given number of yards. Changing the number of yards by one changes the number of feet by two. The graph of the function on the right shows the inverse relationship. The number of yards that equal a given number of feet. Changing the number of feet by one changes the number of yards by third.
Fantastic. Continue on for me on the top of the next page. Cam.
Notice that the graph of the function on the left has a steep upward slant moving from left to right, while the graph of the function on the right also has an upward slant, but it's not as steep. The slant on the graph of a function is called its slope. We assign a number to a slope to indicate how steep the slope is and whether the slope is upward or downward. If the slope is upward, the number is positive. If the slope is downward, the number is negative. If the graph is horizontal, the slope is neither positive nor negative. It is zero. The graph is vertical. The slope cannot be determined.
Fantastic, 6th grade. So for those of you who love your yellow folder, half of your lesson today will be knowing these 4 words. If it goes up as you look left to right, it's a positive number. If it goes down as you move left to right, it's a negative number. If you have a horizontal line, the slope is 0. And if you have a vertical line, we can't determine it. It doesn't have slope, guys. It's a vertical number. And so when I say 0, there's no slope at all. It's not going up or down. But when it's straight up and down, I don't know how to say that number. So we say it's undefined. The real reason we're doing that, guys, is because you're dividing by 0. And you're going to learn something in math as one of the last lessons. You can't divide by 0. We don't know what that means. Okay? So I can take 0 and divide it by 4. That answer is 0. I have no pizzas. I'm going to divide it among 4 friends. How much do you all get? 0. But I can't take, I have 4 pizzas. I'm going to divide it among 0 people. You're going, that's not a math problem. I don't know how to do that. So that's what we're getting at. Okay, example 1 says this. State whether it's positive, negative, 0, or can't be determined. Should happen real quick. Number 1, you should say the slope is?
Rising. I mean positive.
It's positive because it's going up. B. It's a horizontal line. My slope is?
Negative. I mean 0.
0. C. It's going downhill. My slope is?
Negative.
Negative. D. I have a vertical line, which means it
Cannot be determined.
can't be determined. Okay, now that needs to become super quick. Rising, positive. Declining, negative. Horizontal, 0. Vertical, can't be determined. 99% of the slopes you do will either be positive or negative. We normally don't ask you slope questions, guys, on horizontal or vertical lines. Okay, so that was the basics. I can give the definition. The next part says, can you actually tell me what the slope is? Not just it is positive, but it's positive how much? It is negative, it's negative how much? Let's figure out how to do that. Continue on page 747. Nyla.
To determine the numerical value of the slope of a line, it is helpful to draw a right angle using the background grid of the coordinate plane and a portion of the graph line. First, we look for points where the graph line crosses intersection of the grid. We have circled some of these points on the graph below.
Fantastic. Underneath those 2 graphs. Kaylee.
Next, we select 2 points from the graph lines and following the background grid. So, sketch the legs of a right angle so that the legs intersect. The chosen points It is a helpful practice to first relate the point to the y and draw up the horizontal leg to the right, then draw the vertical leg to meet the line.
Fantastic. Underneath the next set of graphs, Q.
We use the words run and rise to describe the two lengths of the direction, where the run is the length of the horizontal line, and the rise is the length of the vertical leg. We assign a positive sign to these signs and to the rise if it goes up to meet the graph line, and a negative sign and it goes down to meet the graph line. In the graph on the left, the run is 2 and the rise is positive 3. In the graph on the right, the run is 2 and the rise is negative 1. We use the numbers to write the slope of each graph. So the slopes of the graph line are these.
So the first one is up 3 over 2. That's a slope of positive 3 over 2. The next rise is negative 1. The run is 2, so it would be a slope of negative 1/2. In your little box it says this. The slope of the line is a ratio of rise to run. We usually say rise over 1. We really use this saying. Finding slope is easy and fun. All you have to remember is rise over run. Algebra at its best, right? Okay, so guys, what I put into your yellow folder is the helpful hints. Rise is how much it's going up and down. So rise is your y-axis. Run is your x-axis. Here's how they're telling you to do that. They're saying, I have a graph, and it looks like this. This is 1, this is negative 1. I have those 2 points, and it goes like this. Okay, now they're saying, draw a triangle. I went over 1, I went up 1. So my rise is 1, my run is 1. 1 over 1 equals 1. My slope is 1. I'll do it again. This time my graph looks like this. I'm at negative 2 and 0, and I put a dot there. And I'm going to go through 0, negative 1. Okay, so this is negative 2. I went over 1, 2. I went down 1. Over 2. Down 1. Down is a negative number. What's my slope? Negative 1/2. X value's on the bottom, Y value on the top. Okay, now here's the math behind that, guys. Slope either actually equals this. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Now that looks really confusing, guys, except let's go here. What is the points of that coordinate? It's at negative 2, 0. What's the point of this one? 0, negative 1. So what am I doing? I'm taking my two y's. 1 minus negative 1. And I'm taking my two x's. Negative 2 minus 0. And I'm putting them over each other. See how I took a 1y and another y? Y2, y1. Order doesn't matter, guys, as long as you go in the same order. So here's y2, here's y1, here's x2, x1. Two negatives make a 0 plus 1 is 1. Negative 2 minus 0. Well, we usually say
Negative 2.
is negative 2. So my slope is negative 1/2. What do we say it was up here? Negative 1/2. It's the exact same thing. This is with coordinates. The other one's with the drawing. What do they want you doing today? The drawing. Now, guys, do what you want with the drawing. In my mind, the problem with the drawing is, do you have graph paper?
No.
No. You're drawing the things yourself. And so it's a little bit harder. So let's look at example 2. It says, find the slope of the graph line. Okay, guys. Good luck. Example 2. I have my graph line. Give me a place where it intersects in the corner of your grid. It intersects at
1 and the 3.
It intersects at 1, 3. Good, except you said backwards. It intersects at 3, 1. over 3 up 1. So it intersects at 3, 1, definitely. Give me another place where it hits the corner. It intersects at -1, 0. Good, except you said them backwards. It intersects at 0, -1. Okay, now guys, what I have to do? I have to do y's, 1 minus -1, over x's, 3 minus 0. Two negatives make up?
Positive.
1 plus 1 is? 3 minus 0 is? Problem solved. Your slope is 2/3. So now we just stuck those coordinates in. Hang on, let me clip it on so I can get it shown. So we stuck those two coordinates that we said where they intersect. We did the math. 1 plus 1 is 2. 3 minus 0 is 3. My slope is 2/3. Now guys, if you could do this under example 2, it's awesome. It says, one way to check the calculations of a slope is to zoom in on the graph. When the horizontal change is 1 unit to the right, the vertical change will equal the slope. To illustrate this, we will zoom in on a square just below and to the right of the origin. Okay, thank you for zooming in. That doesn't do me any good. Why not?
Because it's too zoomed in, you can't see the numbers.
Your eyeballs don't have a zoom button,
Oh, that's
right? I can't say, guys, it's kind of hard to see that little graph. Just zoom it in. What do you want me to do, math book? Like this?
yes.
Okay, did that help you when you stuck it really close to your face?
Yes.
Good, zoom in.
Yes, I did.
Tell me if you could tell that's perfectly 2/3.
No, it's not.
I can't tell if that's 2/3, 3/4, 3/5, 5/8. I can't tell any of that stuff. I can't tell by looking at that, guys. And so what are we really getting at? We have to learn how to do the math for slope, which is get two coordinates and simply subtract the y's and subtract the x's, and you'll get your answer. Now guys, you are already done a decent amount of graphing this year. For the first time, we're going to focus on, let's start picking out what the slope actually is. And we only have a few lessons left because they want to prepare you, because next year you're going to spend a lot more time graphing, and then the older you get as you work algebra, it'll be solve these big algebra things and then please graph it. Okay? That's why when you get to high school they ask you for graphing calculators, because you can just type it into your graphing calculator and whoop, your graphing calculator fires it out for you.
Can the line on the graph, because he says it's the most right, can it ever go right to left?
Can it go that way? Like downhill?
Like, you know how in example 1,
Yes.
can it says the line has to go left to right. Can the line ever go left? Can they ever say that the line is going right to left?
No. You always look at math the same way you read a book. You always read it left to right. Because what they're saying is this. If they let you go backwards, is this going uphill or downhill?
Up here.
What happens if you're looking right to left? Then you would say it's going downhill. In your math book, they're going to say, what kind of slope does this have, positive or negative? This is positive. It's going up as you look left to right. If we let you say going in your directions, you'd say, no, it's going down. No, it's always this direction. That's why it'll always be left to right, so that we can define positive and negative. Questions on it?
Okay, so will you ever have to, okay, so will we just always be in a coordinate graph, like those problems, or will they just have more we have to make, yeah, will it?
Will they give you coordinates? Yes. Today they'll give you pretty pictures of graphs and they'll say draw your little triangle. In the future, do you need to? I hope you don't need to. I hope you can do it with two coordinates. But in your math book, they're going to give you the graph. You're going to have to pick out the coordinates if you want to do it the way I'm trying to show you. But in the future, you want to get to the point where you say, I don't want graphs. Graphs are too hard to look at because I can't tell if that's going through the tooth. Just give me 2 points and away I go.
This isn't a question, and it isn't even related to math, it's about science. Did you know that the lunar eclipses in Hawaii, Wisconsin happened in May 26th this year?
No, I did not, but I'm super excited now. Are we in school on May 26th?
I don't
Nope.
think so.
Oh,
That's the last day of school.
super sad. Okay, 6, let's cruise on. Number 1, it says a shirt regular price at $27 on sale for a third off. What was the sale price? Step 1, I want to know what is 1/3 of $27.
You divided by 27,
And you got
$9.
$9. That's how much we're taking off. So what's the new price?
You have to subtract.
You have to subtract 27 minus the 9. Is $18. Now guys, we have originally been doing this with original change new ratio boxes. This time I think sometimes it's just real easy to click and go. Number 2, it says 975 billion is how much less than 1 trillion. Write your answer in scientific notation. What number goes on top? Q.
1 trillion.
The 1 trillion goes on top. 1 trillion has 12 zeros. I am now subtracting 975 billion from it. Okay, guys, 9 zeros, just come straight down. Cross that all out, 9, 9, 9, 10. 10 minus 5,
5,
9 minus 7,
2,
3.
9 minus 9,
0,
9 minus nothing
0.
is 9. Okay, now I gotta switch that. I totally lied. 9 minus, what did I do wrong here? 9 minus, this is gone, sorry. I'm at 25, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm at 25 billion. I need to write that in scientific notation. Where does my decimal point go? Nyla, I need to count how many places are there after that decimal point until I get to the end. Alex,
10.
10, so it's 2.5 times 10 to the 10th.
Power.
Number 3 says, what is the range and the mode of these numbers? Somebody tell me what range means? Range. What's the biggest number with a hand, please? Q, biggest.
17.
Smallest.
6.
17 minus 6, the math. 11. Now we're moving on to the mode. Define it for me. Most. Which one occurs the most? Alex? 16 is the most. Number 4. Sonia rode her bike from home to the lake. Her average speed was 12 miles per hour. It took her 40 minutes to reach the lake. What was the distance from her home to the lake? Explain how to solve this problem. Her average speed, oh, got it. Okay? So if she was cruising at 12 miles per hour, it took her 40 minutes, so how far was it?
You asked that.
No, but I love the thinking. Q, your suggestion.
Should we do 40 divided by 2?
Kind of.
Putting 40 to 60 as a fraction to figure out, and then multiply it multiply it times
So we're doing 40 over 60 because we have to switch minutes to hours. Good. That reduces to,
2/3.
so she rode for 2/3 of an hour going 12 miles per hour. Divide by 3
4
times 2.
8.
Okay, so she went 8 miles in 40 minutes, which means her house is 8 miles away. Number 5, the ratio of swallowtail butterflies to skipper butterflies in a butterfly conservatory was 5 to 2, and there were 140 butterflies in the conservatory. So I know my ratio box needs to be 3 by 2, and I'm doing swallowtails to skippers to a total of 5 to 2 for a total of 7. I know there's actually 140. I'm after swallowtails. How'd I get from 7 to 140 with a hand?
Minus 1.
Times 20, so I move to the top and do
20 times 5.
20 times 5 with a hand. Nyla, is 100, and I have 100 swallowtails. Number 6, the average cost of a new car increased 8% in 1 year. Before the increase, the new car was $16,550. What's the average cost after the increase? 3 by 2. Original, change, new. Original is always,
100.
I increased by,
8.
which gives me a new total of
92.
108. We increased, we add. Originally it was what, 16,500? 16,550. 16,550. I need to take 16,550 times 1.08. Alright. Didn't leave enough room, so I'm going to have to write small and sloppy. 16,550 times 1.08. 8 times 0.
0.
8 times 5.
40.
Oh gosh, and then I wrote the 4. That's supposed to be a 0 and carry the 4. 8 times 5 plus 4.
44.
Carry the 4 again. 8 times 6 plus 4.
52.
Carry the 5. 8 times 1 plus 5. 13. Now I'm to the 1. I gotta add 1 0, 2 zeros. 1 times 0, 1 times 5, 1 times 5, 1 times 6, 1 times 1. 0, 0, 4, 7, 8, 7, 1.
Wait, what?
Somebody check your math to make sure it agrees with my math. Mine got real sloppy in there. Okay, how many decimal places do I have?
2.
2 decimal places, so 1, 2 makes it look like pennies there. I have 1,874.00. I'm checking to see if that makes sense. It originally was 16,000, now it's up to 17,000. Makes sense when I have an 8% increase that we went up a little over $1,000. Okay, so multiplication's a little sloppy. Some of you might have been bothered. I didn't put a row of zeros in here, guys, but I made sure I had enough zeros for place value. Number 7, the points, ding, ding, and ding, are the vertices of a right triangle. My job is to find the perimeter. I have point 1 at 3, x first, y next. 3, negative 2. The next one's at negative 3. 1, 2, 3, backwards, negative 2. How far is it from negative 3 to positive 3? 6. 3 minus negative 3. 2 negatives make a positive. 3 plus 3 is 6. My last point is at negative 3 and up to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is from 6 down to negative 2. How would I write that? 6 minus negative 2. That is
Negative 4.
2 negatives make a 6 plus 2, 8. Now Pythagorean's theorem kicks in. I have a 6, 8,
12.
no, 3, 4,
5.
double, 6, 8, 10. I have a 6, 8, 10 right triangle. Okay, so that's a multiple of 3, 4, 5s. Now perimeter says, add them up. Take a hand, we got them added. Kendall. Add them all. Ding, ding, and ding. Not this, add this. 6, 8, and 10. That's 24. I'm inside a grid, guys, so I don't know what it is, so I'm doing 24 units. Number 8. In the figure, ABC is a right angle. My job is to find everything else. You got it. So I got a right triangle here, and they told me this is 50, and they told me this is 90. So the first angle they want, guys, is this guy up here. How do I find it?
You're doing 180 minus 50.
Minus What's the other angle in that thing?
You come back to 90.
90. So you got your 90 plus 50 is 140. 180 minus 140 is 40 degrees. So my first answer is 40 degrees. Letter A, 40 degrees. Sixth grade, that was Mrs. Wiesenberg with a thumbs up. You know how it works with the library. Do whatever it is you want to do. Next one I'm supposed to do is D to B to C. Okay, guys, they told me this thing up here is a right angle. I just got 40 on this side, which means I need what on that side to add up to a right angle? 5. I need 50, right? Because 90 minus 40, so that guy is 50 degrees. I am then sliding down to BCD. That's this guy out here. Well, guys, if this is a right angle here, and that's 50, 50 plus 90,
Is 140.
180 minus 140
40.
is back to a 40-degree angle. Letter D says, which triangles in this figure are similar? Is the triangle on the left similar to the triangle on the right?
Yeah.
Yes, this is a 50, 90, 40. What's this one? 50, 90, 40. And now the one you didn't think of. This is a 50, 90, 40. How many triangles are actually in your picture, guys?
1,
3.
3.
The little guy on the left, the little guy on the right, and putting them together. So the trick question is, which triangles are similar? Your job is to write all 3 are similar. Little left, little right, and the big one when you put it together. If you're like me, guys, I forget to put them together. I'm always like, little triangle, what? Number 9, write and solve problems. Translator. Q.
60 times 125% multiply WN.
Good.
Equal.
There you got it. 60 is 125%. I forgot to write the percent of what number? Okay, how do I get rid of 125%? Divided by 125%. Some of us would switch that to a decimal. Some of us might switch that to an improper fraction. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to go improper on us. I know 25% is 1/4, so 1 1/4 is 5/4. So it looks like this. 60 divided by 5/4. Oh, that really bothers us, doesn't it? And when we write them as, so I'm going to write it side by side. 60 divided by 5/4. Your rule is stay.
Change, flip.
So I got 60 divided by 4/5. 5 goes into 60.
12 times.
12 times 4.
48.
Number 10, translator. Kaylee.
60 equals 1% times 25.
Get rid of times by 25, 6th grade.
Divide by 25.
Divide by 25. Percent means out of a.
100
How do I get from 25 to 100?
times 4
Times 4 on the bottom.
times 4 times
60 times 4.
240.
Number 11, translator, please.
This one.
Kendall. So 60 means equal. Now it's always 4 more than twice the number, guys. What do I want to write first? The letter. So it's twice would be 2n. 4 more
Plus 4.
plus 4. Algebra kicks in. I'll take a person who can do the algebra.
I'm going 60 minus 4, which would be 56, and then 56 divided by 2, and we get 28.
Okay, so subtract 4 and then divide by 2. Number 12. In a can are 100 marbles. 10 yellow, 20 red, 30 green, 40 blue. If the marble is drawn from a can, what is the chance that the marble will not be red? Oh, guys, how many reds are there?
20.
So 100 minus 20 is?
80.
Okay, now they ask for chance. Chance means write it as a...
Percent.
Well, that's really nice because we already have it over 100, so it's just 80%. B says, if the first marble is not replaced and the second marble is drawn from the can, what is the probability that both marbles will be yellow? Probability that the first one is yellow. Kendall. Kendall, how many yellows? 10. How many total? 100. I just put it in my pocket. Second fraction. Cam. 9 yellows, 99 marbles. I'll take a person to reduce the first one. Nyla. I'll take a person to reduce the second one.
111.
1/10 times 1/11. Well, 1 times 1 is 1. And 11 times 10 is...
110.
The chance of going yellow, yellow will happen 1 out of every 110 times you attempt it if the theoretical mathematical probability holds true. Number 13, complete this table. I have 5, 6. Anybody got it memorized? It's alright, I don't either. 6 goes into 50. 8 times 6.
48.
50 minus 48.
2.
Bring down the 0. 6 into 20. 18. 6 into 20. What kind of decimal do I have? I have 0.83 repeating. My job is to now go switch it to a percent. I go right twice. 1, 2 is now 83%. What's 0.3 as a fraction?
1/3.
So I have 83 and 1/3%. You're 6. Number 14. The Washington Monument is a little more than 555 feet tall. It has a square base that measures 55 feet 1 1/2 inches on each side. What is the perimeter of the base of the monument? Okay, this is a long time we've had a problem like this. What's true about it being 555 feet tall? When you were in 2nd grade, they'd probably teach you something about that. They would teach you that that is not needed. Let's be honest, guys. I mean, not that it's not interesting, but it doesn't help me solve the problem. I don't care about it being 555 feet tall. I want to know the base. What is the shape of the base? It is
Square.
a square. Its length is 55 feet and 1 1/2 inches. And I'm trying to figure out the perimeter, right? What is the perimeter? So I gotta take that number times 4. Step 1, guys, I'm gonna take 1 1/2 inches times 4. What's 1 times 4?
4.
What's half of 4?
2.
Put it together.
3.
2.
4 plus 2 is
6.
6. Okay, it's 6 inches. Now the next thing I do is take 55 times 4 to figure out how many feet it is. 5 times 4?
20.
5 times 4 plus 2?
22.
So I have 220 feet and 6 inches. Now guys, that doesn't always work to do that shortcut because sometimes your inches will get more than 1 foot. Then you just have to carry it over. But right now you're only at 6 inches. It might be a little bit easier to do it the way we did. It says multiply and write the product in scientific notation. Step 1. Nyla. 1.8 times 9. Take a hand when you're done. Say it again for me.
16.2.
Like that?
Yeah. Oh wait, 2.
16.2.
Yes.
16.2. Okay. Step 2.
Then it's not right. Written in scientific notation, so we have to move the decimal to the first number, which is 1.62 times. Then we have to go 10 minus -6, which is 4, positive 4, plus 1, which is 5, positive 5.
Okay, so we subtracted our exponents because the signs were different. We added 1 because we had to slide it. And you got 1.62 times 10 to the 5th power. Number 16. Between which two consecutive numbers is the square root of 600? 25 is 625, so I need the one below it, which would be 24 and 25. Number 16b. What are the two square roots of 10? No, that's yesterday's lesson. What's the square root of 10? I don't either. So my answer is the square root of 10 and the negative square root of 10. It is not the square root of negative 10. It's the negative square root of 10. So don't stick that negative sign inside it, guys. We can't do that. That's mathematically impossible. Outside the little check mark. Somebody might be checking quiz question number 1. If you did not write it just like that with a number 73, you got it wrong. If you did write it just like that with a 73, you're sitting pretty. Number 17, use the function y equals x plus 1 to answers A through C. Y equals x plus 1. Find 3 xy pairs. Now 6, you do what you want. I'm picking 1, 2, and 3. 1 plus 1. 2 plus 1. 3 plus 1.
4.
I just did letter A. B says, graph these number pairs on a coordinate plane and draw a line through the points. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. C, I guess from today's lesson is what is the slope of the graph line? Guys, I will teach you something that'll save you a lot of work. The slope of the graph line is always the number that goes with the x. Mr. Bauer, there is no number that goes with the x. When there's no number, you always put the number 1. Your slope is 1. That's what we call y-intercept form. Y equals 1. Sorry, I shouldn't have said y. Slope is 1. That'll save us a lot of work in the future if you recognize that. Number 18. If the radius of the circle is 6, what is the area of the shaded region? How would I find the area of the whole circle?
I would do 6 squared, which is 36, and then I'll multiply it by the top.
Good. Now, how do I figure out what the shaded region is?
Just subtract 360 from 120, or 120 from 360.
Okay. And you get?
240?
Good. So my circle is 240 out of the 360 degrees. I need to do what with that big, huge fraction?
Reduce
I need to reduce it. So we can start with the easy, chop off the 0. Somebody reduce 24/36 for me. 2/3. Now I need to figure out what is 2/3 of 36. 24. So divided, you got 12 times 2, you got 24. So it'd be 24 pi. What are we working with? Centimeters
Yeah.
squared. Good review of sectors. Figure out what percent we were after. Now, we had to subtract, guys, because they gave me the not shaded. They asked for the shaded. 19. Find the surface area of the rectangular solid. When they give me surface area, I pair the numbers. Give me one pair. Cam? 4 times 8. Give me another pair. 4 and 4. Give me the last pair. 4 and 8 again, because there's 2 different 4s, guys, right? Okay, we always need 3 pairs. 6th grade, 4 times 8,
32.
4 times 4,
16.
and we know that's 32. Step 2, add them all up. Raise your hand when you got it. Dalen? Final step.
500.
No. Double it, right? Times 2. Because, guys, we really need 6 spaces. You added 3 times 2 would give me 6. That would give me 160. I'm working in inches, I believe, and we're squaring those things. 20 says find the volume of the right cylinder. Dimensions are in centimeters. I'm supposed to use 3.14. Awesome. They gave me a cylinder for volume. I need to find the area of a circle, and they gave me the radius. So it's pi r squared times the height. Fill in the numbers. 3.14 times
4 squared.
4 squared times
10 squared.
10. Good. Now do the math that we can. 4 squared?
16.
I'm sorry, I have to sneeze. Oh man, it's killing me. 16 times 10?
160.
Okay, so I'm doing a 3.14 times 160. I'm going to just do 3.14 times 16 and put the 0 on at the end. 6 times 4?
24.
Carry the 2. 6 times 1 plus 2.
8.
6 times 3.
18.
Add a 0. 1 times 4. 1 times 1. 1 times 3. 4 and nothing. 8 and 4. 1, 8, 1. 1, 1, 3. Now don't forget your 0 to put on. How many decimal places did I have? 1, 2, 1, 2. 502.4. Left that other 0 off. Centimeters. Volume is cubed. Number 21. Find the total surface area from that little beautiful cylinder. Okay, we're back to pi r squared, guys, to find the area of a circle. How many circles do I have, though? 2. So it's 2 times 3.14 times radius. And I assume we got to keep using 3.14 because they didn't tell me something different. So you told me 4 squared is 16 times 2 is
16 times 2. 32.
so I got 3.14 times 32. Here we go, 6th grade. 2 times 4.
8.
2 times 1.
2.
2 times 3.
6.
Add a 0. 3 times 4.
12.
3 times 1 plus 1.
4.
3 times 3.
9.
Add.
8.
Add. Add. Add.
10.
Okay, that's the top and the bottom. Now I need the distance around the can. The distance around a circle is called the circumference. I don't need radius, I need diameter. If my radius is 4,
8.
my diameter is 8. So I got 3.14 times 8. Multiply,
32.
multiply and add,
11.
multiply and add.
25.
Okay, now I gotta take the circumference times the height. The height is?
120.
The height is 10. So you multiply that by 10, you add on a
0.
1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. So you have 251.2 plus 100.48. 8 nothing.
8,
2 and 4.
6,
Decimal straight down. 1 and nothing. 5 and nothing. 1 and 2.
3.
351.68 centimeters squared for surface area. Okay, guys, it's just, you're realizing some of the surface area, it's a lot of math. And just what you gotta remember is, don't forget the top, don't forget the bottom, don't forget the distance around. As we continue to work those things, keep practicing. The math sometimes is hard enough, but just remembering all the steps is just as equal. Number 22. The polygon ABCD is a rectangle. Find the measurement of x. Okay, they gave me 60. If it's 60 on the below down here, it's also 60 there. They dropped this guy right here, and they said this is a right angle. If it's a right angle on the right, right angles equal
90.
60 plus 90.
150.
150 minus from
180.
180 because it's a triangle. 180 minus 150 is...
30.
Okay, guys, that's literally alternate interior angles. Number 23, find the slope of the line. I love it. It crosses the origin.
0,
That would be at 0, 0, right?
Yep.
Where else does it cross at a perfect box? 1 and
negative. Positive 2.
1 and positive 2. Okay, now guys, you got two choices. If you drew the little boxes like this, it would look like this. You have this here, and you went 1, 2 up here. So you went over 1, up 2. Rise over 1. I went up 2. I went over 1. 2 over 1 equals,
2.
my slope is 2. If you did the math, guys, it would look like this. I'm going to start at the bottom. 2 minus 0 over 1 minus 0. Well, 2 minus 0 is 2, and 1 minus 0 is
1.
And so whether you zoomed in and did the over up or you did the math, you still get the thing of 2. Solve for x, yesterday's problems. For a, I have x minus y equals z. I need x by itself. What do I need to get rid of?
Why? No, divide y by y.
No.
You have to add the x to cross off the y.
I have to not add x, I'm adding y. I want to get x by itself, so what needs to go? The y needs to go. I look at y. What am I doing to the y? Minus y. Opposite says add y. Add y on the left.
Add 1 on the right.
On the left, the y's.
Cancel.
I now have x equaling it. X equals what? Z plus y. Problem solved. Next one for 24b says w equals xy. Once again, I'm solving for x. I need to get rid of the y. What am I doing with the y right now?
Divided.
I am multiplying. The opposite of multiplication is
Division.
divide by y on the right.
Divided by 1 on the left.
On the right, those y's are gone.
Cancel.
Canceled. So what's my problem? X equals w divided by y. Literal equation from yesterday. Now guys, I know I switched that around. You can certainly write w divided by y equals x because that's how they gave it to you. I just flipped that thing. It's an equal sign. It doesn't matter. It's like saying 4 is 2 plus 2 or 2 plus 2 is 4. We're just used to writing it one way. So 25, I'm supposed to solve a proportion. A is to 21. A is to 21. As 1.5 is to 7. How'd I get from 7 to 21?
3.
1.5 times 3?
4.5.
15 times 3 is 45. Maybe you know that one in your head, so you just slide that decimal. 26. I have 6x plus 5 equals 7 plus 2x. How do I get rid of plus 5?
Subtract 5.
Subtract 5 on the left.
Subtract 5 on the right.
On the left, the 5's.
Cancel.
On the right, the math equals.
2.
Get rid of the 2x. I'm adding 2x, so I should
Subtract 2.
subtract 2x on the right.
Subtract 2x on the right.
On the right, those x's are.
Cancel.
On the left, 6x minus 2x is.
4x.
Get rid of the 4 by.
Subtract
Divide by 4 on the left.
Divide by 4 on the right.
On the left, the 4's.
Cancel.
On the right, you reduce to.
Negative 2.
Whoa, 2.
1
1
half.
27. 62 plus 5 next to a bracket of 20 minus another bracket 4 squared plus 3 next to a parenthesis 2 minus 1. Close the parenthesis, close the bracket, close the bracket. Here we go. 2 minus 1. 1 times
3.
is
3.
next.
4 squared is 16.
Good. Next.
Plus the 3, which is 19.
Good. Next. Alex.
20 minus 1, 20 minus 19 is 1.
Good. Next.
1 times 5 is 5.
Good. Final.
62 plus 5 is 67.
Okay, that one was completely backwards how we worked that problem, guys. They worked us all the way backwards because of the parentheses. Number 28. I have 6x squared y times 2xy all being divided by 4xy squared. Okay, here's how I like to do it. 6 times 2,
12.
divide by 4.
3.
So the numbers are gone, guys, and I'm left with a 3 on the top. Okay, how many x's do I have on the top?
2. 3.
3. So 2 here, 1 here. That's 3. How many x's do you have on the bottom?
1.
So 3 minus 1 is.
2.
So I got an x squared left on the top. How many y's on the top?
2.
How many y's on the bottom?
2.
So the y's just.
Cancel.
So I'm left with 3x squared. Done. The bottom was all deleted out of that. You're set. 29. I have 5 and 1/6 plus 3 and 0.5 minus 1/3. I looked at 1/6. I looked at 1/3. I know I have to mess with fractions. So I need to switch the first one. 5 and 1/6 plus 3 and
1/2.
1/2. Need to have common.
Denominator.
1/2 equals
3/6.
3/6 plus 1/6.
4/6.
3 plus 5.
8.
And now I'm subtracting 1/3 from it. 1/3 is
2/6.
2/6. Probably been better to reduce, but I didn't. 4/6 minus 2/6 is
2/6.
8 minus nothing is
8.
reduce 2/6.
1/3.
And number 30. 6, we'll start with the 4 numbers on the left. 3 times 4, 2 times 5, 12 times 10.
120.
Count the negatives out of those first 4 numbers.
2.
How many negatives out of the first 4?
2.
2. 2 negatives make a.
Positive.
Okay, now you're behind it, guys. You have plus -2 times -3.
6.
What kind?
Positive.
Positive. Okay, add it.
126.
126 together. So we took out the big, huge top, got 126. The bottom
It's positive 6.
is +6. The absolute value is +6. We divide 6 into 12.
121.
21 times. Okay. All right, we'll pray that this thing shuts down. Those of you at home, try to upload this thing and pray it works.